Contractors love the catch-all because it makes every single one of their roof builds easier and more profitable. Protective netting wraps facade and landscaping to prevent from left-behind nails and damage. Homeowner referrals bring you more jobs, and insurance supplements bring you more profits. But my favorite part, the branding.
Welcome back to the Morning Brew with the Homeowners. I'm your host, Dmitry Lipinski. Today, I'm joined with three awesome co-hosts. I have Clay Cox, all the way from Atlanta, Georgia. I have Mike Holmes, first time in the studio here, local roofing contractor from Minneapolis. And I have Adam Sand, all the way from Canada. Today we have a shocking episode for you homeowners. You probably have heard about it, but you don't know how bad it is. It will be shocking if you haven't heard of it. For some people, your insurance company is probably using drones and AI to spy on you. Homeowners are getting surprise letters about cancellations. Contractors are getting called in to fight cancellations. Scammers are using deepfakes, and some people are turning AI back on insurers. So let's get into it. Clay Cox has details for the first story today. Go ahead, Clay.
Let's talk about it. I'm excited for these topics today, Dimitri. You know, homeowners have to deal with their insurance carriers sometimes. Oftentimes, contractors get involved. We're going to talk about that kind of triangle of relationships today. This first story is a great example of what's going on out there, and roofers are well aware of it, and homeowners are going to become more and more aware of it. This is about how insurance companies spy on your home with drones. So, the story comes from Massachusetts. A lady named Lynn says her insurance company used a drone to spy on her house. She only found out when they sent the photos along with a warning. They told her she had 6 weeks to get rid of tree branches over her roof or lose coverage. So she spent the $1,200 to get that done to save her policy, to maintain her coverage on her home. And there's plenty of stories out there like this. Two more examples that we found come from Texas. Travelers Insurance sent Tracy in Texas some grainy drone photos and gave her 2 months to trim tree branches above her house. And then Elena experienced something that I'm seeing more and more in the industry. She was told she needed an entire new roof by her insurance company, even though hers was only 5 years old. And they didn't even bother to send her pictures to prove that case. So this is something that's happening a lot out there. And we in the roofing industry that meet with homeowners about roofing issues all the time, we're seeing this happen. They get these letters out of nowhere saying to replace their roof. And I'm excited to talk about this, but I'm interested to hear what you guys think and jump us off.
Adam, what do you think?
Well, you know, this is coming to every industry. And I think that when you see like Amazon robots delivering packages to houses, you're going to have people push them over, right? Waymo actually can give you demographic data about which regions of the country people are more likely to jump on the hood of a taxi to try and get a fake insurance claim out of people. So you're going to see this like kind of tug and pull of this kind of situation, because I see it from the insurance company's perspective, and then they're trying to improve the data going to their actuaries, improving risk, and trying to have better maintenance of the assets they have under what I guess you call it under insured, right? And so, by the same token, you know, homeowners probably didn't expect that this kind of stuff was going to start happening, and I don't think that homeowners are quite adequately defended against the insurance companies for this. And I think that you're just going to see a lot more reasons for people to start denying. I watched a hilarious video the other day by this guy Ryan George. He said the first person who sold insurance, and it was like, yeah, you should just give me money. It's like, why? Because something could happen. It's like, yeah, but then when something happens, you'll need money. It's like, yeah, but if I just don't give you money, then I'll have money. It's like, yeah, but you don't know when it could happen, so you should give me money. And it's like, well, then if something happens, you're going to pay for it? Maybe. We'll decide then. And it's like this, like the theory of like the first time someone sold insurance, and it was hilarious. And this is it. It's like, you know, the maybe is a big thing for people.
Yes. So I think it's a new reality. I think insurance companies are one of the smartest, more well-established, wealthiest companies out there. They're going to use every resource possible. So there's no surprise they use AI and drones to spy on us. And there's part of me that absolutely hate it. There's part of me that love it. So here's what I hate. I think that roofers took advantage of claims and houses for many, many years. And what I mean by that is there's been plenty of houses that should not be insured in the first place. Like if your roof is 20 years old, it's very old, it's falling apart, and you have, wind comes through and you have one shingle is missing, right? Like, do insurance really owe you for a brand new roof that, technically yes, because insurance will say, well, but they insured it and I paid for it, right? So what was happening before is, you get new policy, you have this old roof falling apart, they did not inspect it, they did not look at it, and now they have to pay out $30,000 claim. Is it fair for the insurance? No. Now, on the other side, the roofer is gonna homeowner is gonna complain, well, drone flew over my house and now they're dropping me because they don't want to insure it. Well, of course they are. They don't want a liability. So I think it fulfills that old problem with insuring jobs, houses that should not be insured in the first place. So I like that one, but I also hate it because now people losing their insurance and become uninsurable for stupid reasons. I've seen reports from Texas where people are getting letters for, they have algae on the roof and it's just bad image for, on a drone, and they're getting dropped letter. Mike, what do you think?
Well, first of all, I'd like to say that I understand the intention. I have a company here in Minnesota, Repair King, where we're doing a lot of insurance restoration. That's our primary thing. So I understand the good and the bad, and I agree with what you say that a lot of roofers have taken advantage of it. I come from the mortgage industry. I've seen the same thing. So I understand what they're doing, and if we were the insurance company, we would try to make sure that what we're insuring is what we think it is. Because if you call the insurance company today and you get insurance, they're going to insure you instantly without ever viewing the property. So I understand why they're doing it. However, something that's good, that starts with good intention, can later turn into something bad. Like they say, the path to hell is paved with good intention. So I think they're starting with something good, but however, there are going to be bad things that happen, and this is one of them. They're flying drones out here to check their inventory, so to speak, that they're insuring, but they're not showing inspectors. I believe that maybe what could change is they see a property and then they red flag it, and then a human should go there and verify. Maybe they should get a list of which properties are the ones that they need to review for cancellation, instead of that happening totally autonomous without a human. But to the homeowner, what they could take away from this is that the value is document. A lot of roofing companies, even like our own and many other ones, are now making sure that we're trying to be proactive and tell homeowners that you need to document the current situation of your home even before something happens, because a lot of times insurance companies are trying to distinguish, is this a current situation, is this a current loss, or is this or did this happen before the loss? So the best thing you can do, just like in sports, a good offense is a great defense. So if you want to check your property, protect yourself, document it, walk around your house, do a 360, anything you can think of, just take the picture, and you can't have enough pictures or videos. After every season, after every storm, make sure you're documenting your property. If insurance companies have evidence, then you need evidence too.
Love it. Clay, what do you think about cosmetic and other stuff? Like, do you think we need more regulations what insurance companies can and cannot do with those images?
I absolutely do, because insurance companies, this is yet another iteration of delay, deny, defend.
Yep.
If they're going to write a policy on a home and they're not going to bother to come out and assess it initially to decide whether they should put a policy in place or not, then they have to live with the policy that they wrote. So now, and yes, this was alluded to, but roofers have taken advantage of it. They've filed unjustifiable claims. There's roofers out there that do really terrible, fraudulent things like create damage on roofs. But this backlash, this swing back by the insurance company to try to cancel or get rid of the policies on their books that they've written is not fair to homeowners, and it's wrong. And certainly for cosmetic issues where they're going to fly a drone over, get an image that doesn't speak to the quality of that roof, doesn't speak to the life expectancy of that roof. Algae starts to grow on the north-facing slope of these roofs, sometimes relatively quickly. It depends on the climate, right? It doesn't mean the roof is not functional. It doesn't mean they shouldn't stand behind what they did. Yet again, they're trying to protect their profit margins, and these multi-billion-dollar corporations are trying to pay their CEO bonuses, and it's absolutely not fair to homeowners. Yes, we need qualified contractors that can go out there and can assess these things and help fight these good fights on behalf of the homeowners. Get up there and actually do a real assessment of that roof. Look inside the attic. The things that the insurance companies aren't willing to do, aren't able to do. And it's going to take an effort by guys like us on this call and savvy homeowners that recognize that, man, that little gecko is not representative of Geico. The guy in khakis from State Farm is not your buddy. The guy, the agent who writes your policy is just a salesperson. And just because he takes you golfing once a year doesn't mean he's going to look out for you. These are not good guys. Good contractors are the ones that you need to help with.
Clay is on fire today. Absolutely love it. I agree. And I personally think that insurance companies will lose a lot of money, and those agents who sells insurance policies, they probably hate it because they've sold the policy, they're making money, and now they're relying on AI and drones canceling essentially their business, because you can see how they're going to be also losing money by canceling. That business is going to go somewhere else. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll have another hot story. Roofer versus AI. Homeowners insurance is canceled after some images revealed from the space. Do not go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Attention roofers! Are you tired of shingle debris and nails littering your job sites? Fed up from crawling on hands and knees for hours on end hunting for dropped nails? Are you drained from paying thousands to replace damaged landscaping and gutters? Eric McIntosh here, introducing the Catch-All, the revolutionary new system to protect your job sites from roofing trash and debris during roof replacement. Ever do a tip-top job on a roofing install only to be called back for a few left behind nails? Watch how it catches roofing debris with ease. Forget about those rolling magnets that never pick up all the mess. With the Catch-All, nails and debris will never even touch the ground. How many times have you paid to replace damaged gutters? The Catch-All's patented gutter protection protects against falling debris as well as damage from ladders. You could spend up to $3,000 per year on disposable tarps and OSB. What a pain in the neck. The Catch-All goes up quickly to protect your homeowner's valuable landscaping and save you time and money. The secret is in the Catch-All's breathable netting. Old-fashioned tarps trap heat, killing grass and shrubs. The Catch-All netting will never burn sensitive plants and even stays in place on windy days. Simply attach the chute net to the telescoping pole and lift into place. The Catch-All netting is so strong, it can even withstand a 2-story drop with this 50-pound weight. Amazing! And the best part is, cleanup is a breeze. Simply use the patented carry handles to transport the leftover trash and debris straight to the dump trailer. And what's more, now your crews will get to the next job even faster. We've seen that the Catch-All is amazing for job site protection, but I'm not done yet. With every kit you purchase, you'll receive not 1, but 2 custom printed banners with your very own logo, so the entire neighborhood will know that you are the best roofer in town. And with our specially designed interchangeable banners, custom logos can be arranged and changed with infinite possibilities. So what are you waiting for? Purchase your Catch-All today. Save time, increase profits, happy homeowners. The Catch-All. Order now.
And we are back, continuing drinking our coffees, teas, and other morning drinks. Thank you for being with us today. Our second story today comes from California. California couple says their insurance dropped them over a mistake from space. Janice and Anthony Coleman had Liberty Mutual for 20 years. Then they got a notice saying roof photos showed moss and algae. I actually heard this story many times from other states. The couple insists it was their solar panels. Even after a roofer confirmed the roof was fine, Liberty Mutual refused to reverse. I wonder why, because if you have that extra expertise, like, you taking AI and image over actual report, on the field, this one is crazy to me. But this also shows you that maybe because it's 20 years, I mean, who knows why? What do you think took place here? Clay, Adam?
Well, I think that they're making decisions about markets that they want to get out of and a certain risk profile that they want to remove. And putting myself in the position of an insurance company, every time you get somebody under your insurance, you're really just taking on a risk and hoping that the money, justifies it. And I feel like it generally does. But if they've made a decision that they're trying to drop people, they're not going to really care about the fact that you proved it right. because I think what is the guilty mind of the insurance company? I think they're trying to drop people and not necessarily trying to take on more people. If they're looking for like new homes that they want to cover and not like old homes that have had their second or third roof, they're just trying to drop people. So the fact that you then prove it doesn't mean they have to take you back. But I do agree that these AI image processing models are not quite there yet, where they still need some human in the loop in that AI review, because the technology just isn't quite there yet to be perfect.
Yeah, look how bad a miss they made. I mean, these are solar panels. It had nothing to do with something that was growing on the roof, right? But Adam's exactly right. The actuarial data says that this is a risky one. And the algorithm tells them we need to get this one off the books because we're about to have to pay out on it. They had Liberty Mutual for 20 years. What do you want to bet that they were these great homeowners that maintained this policy for 2 stinking decades and paid their bill every single month and never filed a claim? I'd be willing to bet they never had a claim. And the longer you go without a claim, the insurance companies know, the more likely they are to incur that claim sooner. 20 years of no claim, you'd think you'd be the best customer Liberty Mutual could ever ask for. We never file anything. We pay our bill every month. No, you're about to become the worst customer that they want to get off the books because they've never had to pay you before, and they want to avoid having to pay you at all. So, yeah, this whole thing about what was on the roof, this is just a justification. And Adam's precisely correct. It has nothing to do with whether it was right or wrong. They're just looking for any reason they can to dump you. And as soon as they find it, they've got more power and backing than these homeowners do. The Liberty Mutual team of engineers and attorneys and everybody else has a lot more firepower than any of us do. And the insurance lobby is a lot stronger than any homeowner lobby or any roofing lobby. Those things barely exist in this industry.
This reminds me of a time when I was walking in the mall with my girlfriend and I got accused of looking at somebody and it turned into an argument. This feels like a bad accusation, a false accusation, and a bad breakup. They were looking for a reason to break up and they made it. So I mean, you can't mistake a rectangle fixture with fuzzy, moist moss. And then it should be settled with something as simple as a camera. The homeowner should be able to zoom in and take a picture, or have a roofer go up there and take a picture of it. It's just a completely ridiculous fight, and I think everybody in our industry can all relate to. We deal with things like this often. This definitely is one of the worst ones that I've heard. I mean, when you read it, you're like, moss versus a entire fixture of a solar thing. It sounds completely ridiculous. And I think that it also proves that AI doesn't have human common sense. It has room for errors. They're computers. They evolve. They get better. iPhone 6 to iPhone 17. Dial up to Wi-Fi. Things change, and we have to just understand that it's not perfect. And I don't know why something like that wouldn't be settled with a simple picture. The fact that they're fighting, to me, just feels intimidating. It does prove that you need human judgment on these claims. And to the homeowners, if you get a letter like that, don't panic and don't accept it. The people who speak up and get proactive are likely the ones that remain protected.
It reminds me of Sam Altman, CEO of ChatGPT, comments about how they're going to make money. He said, we're going to build this AI, we're going to build ChatGPT, and then it will tell us how to make money. I feel like insurance companies pretty much saying, we're going to start using AI and drones, and it will tell us how to save money, how to make money in this case. And I love some initiatives, like in Florida, 2 proposed laws would have required a human to review claim denials. And I love it. And I feel like with the AI these days, and we have lawyers under the fire who doing their paperwork with AI, and AI is making cases, right? Like, you need a human to sign off on the paper, whether it's a denial, you can't rely on the AI system like for automatic decision, because who are you going to prosecute? If a fraud is committed, if some wrongful terminations, what's not, right? There's so many business transactions out there that should be regulated. People should not be fired by AI, but we probably will see it happening in our lifetime. People should not be losing their insurance coverage because of AI. So we do need that signature of the human. And as of right now, looks like it's not in place. Looks like AI is making those decisions already. So future is here.
You know, the other thing that
Problem
makes
with
me go ahead.
you love the idea that these laws are coming up for review and to potentially pass, but those laws in Florida to make a human get involved in this process, neither of them passed.
Yep.
So to the previous point that like the insurance company has a much stronger lobby and has a lot more money to throw at these efforts than what's coming from the homeowner protection side. It's not a good look for homeowners. And you can imagine this like future state where homeowners start figuring out how to use Chat GPT and AI to start trying to fight against the insurance companies. Then you got insurance AI bots versus homeowner AI bots, and eventually, I guess the computers just explode. I don't know, but it's going to be interesting to see what happens over the next couple of years because the AI stuff is getting really powerful.
I think that you bring it to a great point. Is like, what does this look like? I did a podcast episode called the Battle of the $1 Billion Roofing Companies, Roofing in 2030, because I was trying to postulate like what would this be like. It was a couple of years ago, and I want to like update it now because now we've seen ChatGPT and whatnot. And in my research coming up to this episode, I was trying to think like how does this impact the industry going forward? And I think what you're going to see. I found a company called QSS Technosoft, and they're part of like the technology of the insurance industry. And it hasn't hit homeowner insurance yet, but you're going to start seeing decentralized insurance models, blockchain. Like you're going to have like, I think you're going to see an emergence of homeowners buying from roofers some kind of roof care program, kind of like commercial roofing and the no dollar limit warranty. Like how do you offer a no dollar limit warranty as a manufacturer? You have to make sure it's being maintained. In healthcare insurance, you know, it's like you connect your Apple Watch and you prove that you're getting in better shape and you're going out and walking, your premiums go down. So I think you're going to see some kind of home maintenance agreements being set up, and roofers are probably going to start taking advantage of an opportunity to sell an annual recurring or biannual recurring revenue model. Ridgetop Exteriors, this client we're working with, they're already doing it. And so if you create this kind of you can create these smart contracts where insurance companies will have to be follow the regulations, and they won't have the ability to break it because it'll be this immutable blockchain thing. I know that's getting into the weird, but you know, I think that like to your point, Clay, as the two AIs start to like essentially make the decisions amongst each other, the eventual thing is like there has to be some governing set of rules, and that is what blockchain and smart contracts are for.
I think that's a great point. I think from a lot of problems, things are created and industries emerge. And when you said that, I mean, the light was going off in my head. Like, I could see that happen. I mean, for example, directory is a great example of that, of how somebody had an experience, and from that industry and the business was created, and then now they're protecting homeowners doing the same thing, and I can very much see that happening. That makes a lot of sense to me. And also right now, this story also makes me wonder and should make people think how many are being quiet, because this is the one squeaky wheel that made it to the news. How many people were pushed over or quiet or just accepted it or didn't have the wherewithal or resources to make it to be heard. And that's really, I think that's something to think about too, that this is one story, but typically it's kind of like when you're on Facebook, somebody makes one comment, 100 people seen it, they just didn't say anything. This is the one story that we're seeing. This is a lot bigger picture probably, and something that needs to be, put some thought into it.
Well, at least they did not deny it. I don't know how I feel about insurance dropping them, because I've seen cases where people would have the same insurance for 20, 30 years. They have one claim and they get denied, right? At least this homeowner can go and shop for another insurance. And what I hate about it, that insurance companies talk to each other and they have shared data. So if you've been dropped by insurance, usually it's not a good sign, because other insurances will know. It's almost like your record that someone dropped you, right? And I absolutely hate that collaboration of the insurance companies. Now, I hope that there are going to be good insurance companies who will pick up that business. Okay, so if it's, State Farm, or I don't know, like if State Farm would pick Liberty Mutual dropped cases, but if we have good insurance, let's say it's a Chubb or whatever, they can go in. And if I would be in the insurance business, I would go right now and literally advertise to all the people who lost their insurance, and it'll be the easiest sell ever. Because people are pissed at their insurances. I mean, this is a perfect customer. Someone who paid for their insurance for 20 years and who have a roofer saying that the roof is fine and it's the solar panels. I want that customer. That's easy business. So I think I'm still standing that it's insurance companies kind of shooting them in the foot here because yes, they are being protective, but at the same time they are killing their own business with this kind of decisions. You can't rely on AI technology this much, this fast. I feel like they are overreacting. Now, we have one more problem to talk about today. When we come back after the break, we have one major issue in the industry now, and that is deepfake insurance scams are up 475%, and how roofers pay the price. Do not go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Contractors love the catch-all because it makes every single one of their roof builds easier and more profitable. Protective netting wraps facade and landscaping to prevent from left-behind nails and damage. Homeowner referrals bring you more jobs, and insurance supplements bring you more profits. But my favorite part, the branding.
And we are back. Thank you for hanging out with us today, drinking whatever it is you're drinking. Hope it's something hot and nice like a tea or coffee, but comment if you're watching us on YouTube, what is it you're drinking when you're watching? Next story is about deepfake insurance scams. Adam has the story.
Yeah, the deepfakes, which is it's up 475%, and roofers are kind of paying the price. So an example is a fraud detection company called Pindrop analyzed thousands of calls placed to insurance carriers in 2024. They reported a 19% increase in total fraud. This is part of a 475% increase in deepfake voice scams. So according to Pindrop, the most common insurance fraud involves policy loans and annuity withdrawals, where the scammers call in to update bank account numbers or a mailing address to divert the funds. So think of it as like I phone in and I say, hey, I want to actually change my bank account to this, or I want to change my address to this, and the money goes to a place that it wasn't expected, and it's done in many cases by something like AI voice. In the UK, Alliance reported a 300% jump in manipulated images and files in 2023, so basically faking dents on cars. And so carriers are now fighting back with AI tools to scan images, documents, and voice calls for fraud, and this is making it a lot more difficult for contractors.
Man, I hate it so much. My wife told me last week that, Dmitry, everything we pay for is more money now. Our insurance is up, our electric bill is up, like every bill that we have as a household, everything is up. And FBI says the insurance fraud costs homeowners $400 to $700 annually due to premium increases. So the reason I hate scammers so as much as I do is because good people always pick up that tab. Like for every roofing scammer, insurance scammer, fraudsters, like there is going to be an increased cost that homeowners and contractors will pay, unfortunately. That's why we have to be vocal about it. We have to shed the light on the problem for it to go away. What do you guys think?
I think sometimes when people do things, I think they feel like it's a victimless crime at first. I think when people do this, they think they're hurting this faceless entity.
Giant.
This faceless giant. How will they ever, I'm throwing a pebble in a lake. How will I ever affect them? Well, the stats are right there. You said they were affecting homeowners $400 to $700. If people understand insurance, everybody's putting money in. Some take money out, and when that gets abused, they have to level off the funds by shooting that back to homeowners through policies, coverage, deductibles, those sorts of things. So I think that if people are educated and have a better understanding, and if they care, they need to understand that this is not a victimless crime. The thing that bugs me too with this is that people are using scammers. They're calling in, they're using the deep fake, the fake voices, and we've seen that happen. Even that says in the UK, but we've even seen that here in the States here, where people have used a fake voice to call a family member and say, "Hey, mom, I'm getting pulled over. I need some money now."
It's crazy.
And, I need bail money and that sort of thing. Those sort of things we can't protect. Something like we have a big corporation that is affecting, and you're holding our money, you're holding our coverage, and major information is being changed. I don't think it's too much to ask from them to, maybe they'll have to adapt and do something like give a bounce a call back, or do some sort of authenticator, or at the very minimum, if I have it with my bank, if something gets changed, even if my Google, if something gets changed, I get an instant email that says this information was just changed, and little small steps like that.
Cybersecurity.
Yeah, it can help prevent stuff, and nothing's going to be perfect, and people that are doing things illegally, and especially with AI, it's going to get better and better. But I think that there can be small steps to kind of minimize the damage, and at least we can be responsive to it faster, so you can catch it while it's still smaller.
This is what actually happened to my company. We have an employee named Brian, and Brian communicated by email that he needed to change his bank account information for his payment. And this was actually a Brian that was operating as a contractor with us because he was moving and he just got hired on. So he was working on it as a 1099. And it just so happened that during this period of time, we were moving him to W-2, and he asked to change his payment information and communicated, and we ended up changing his payment information to some random person's account and sent $5,000 to the wrong person. And to kind of what you guys were saying, if we do a 10% net, that means I got to sell $50,000 more stuff to make that $5,000 back. So that means if I have 50 customers, every one of them has to spend $1,000 more for me to make that up, or I have to get my team to do $50,000 more work in their day to make up for that that was a bi-weekly pay amount like that. You know what I mean? Like it's making up $50,000 bi-weekly because of sending the money into thin air, because I still had to pay the employee.
Of course.
So like I still had to send him the money, and it was all fake email and everything.
Clay, you were quiet on this one. What are you thinking?
Deepfake is a crisis of global proportions. I mean, when we live in this reality where you can't tell what's real and getting faked out, and it's infiltrating every corner of our society. When you see politicians posting deepfake videos, we've reached the end game. I mean, I don't know what the guardrail is. I don't know what the solution is, but there is a real sense that you're not quite sure if what you're looking at or hearing on the phone, on the internet, is believable anymore. I mean, like, we've lost a sense of reality, and I completely agree with the take that, like, getting your shot at the insurance company is not a victimless crime. And I've seen plenty of homeowners and plenty of contractors who are like, hey, it might be a long shot, but it's your shot. Let's take it, because it's an insurance company. And it's sobering to hear the statistic that, like, each and every person out there is suffering to the tune of $400 to $700 annually because of, because people are trying to bilk everything they can out of insurance companies. But the idea that like the inability to tell what's real or not, and that deepfakes are being used in really nefarious ways, and that's only going to compound as we move forward and technology gets better and therefore more dangerous, is deeply unsettling. And man, if you're watching this video right now, like, am I real? Who freaking knows? Am I a deepfake? Is Black Mike Holmes a deepfake? I'm not sure. I don't know. I've never met that guy in person. Is he really sitting next to you, Dimitri? Who can say?
So here's my. Go ahead.
I was going to say, we built a voice agent for a roofer where a homeowner could call in and ask when their installation date is, right? And so the voice agent would at first would say, hey, what's your name, right? And it would go look them up in the CRM and say, what's your installation date? But we already recognized that this is going to be a problem, and so we had to start giving customers a number, to say, hey, when you call in, it says, hey, we'd love to do the, what's your installation date? Well, give us your deal number. But then even that was able to get caught. So now we have to be able to send a text message. So it's like, oh, I'd like to know when my installation date is. Oh, great. Well, I have your phone number is this. I'm sending you a text. Read the code back. We have to do two-factor authentication for this, like, voice agent to tell a homeowner their installation date, because there is already stuff like this happening to, like, roofing contractors who are starting to implement, like, voice AI just to help answer the phone. This is not like some faraway thing that's only happening to insurance companies at the billion-dollar level. It's happening right now to roofers today who are, like, trying to use some of this stuff that's out there on the market.
I'm going to be a little bit optimistic here. So I believe that people are smart and will figure it out. And I'll bring 3 examples to illustrate it. One is video piracy. When you start watching a movie, it says, like, punishable by law by $250,000, right? Because people used to download, re-upload, and play, right? So today the problem almost does not exist, maybe like in the poorer countries, because we have Netflix, we have subscriptions, we have, as economy grows, like, that crime goes away, but they have to, put a fear in front of you, prosecute few people, like if you like doing DVD sales, all of it. Second example would be what we did in the tobacco industry. Like I was in Turkey last year, and if you buy a pack of cigarette in Turkey, it literally says shows you pictures of like lung cancer, teeth. Like this is how you're gonna look if you're gonna keep doing it. And look at the problem with the cigarettes like 30 years ago. You know, doctors were saying that it's good for you, and today like smoking goes down. People still smoke. There's still someone gonna do it. And last example is we are afraid of surveillance cameras everywhere. If you go to China, like big cities, the crime almost does not exist. Like they don't steal cars. There's almost no theft, like bare minimum. But in Japan, China, South Korea comes to mind, like cameras everywhere. People are watched and they stop doing stuff. So I feel like with the deep AI, like we have to put a fear in front of people. Like, if you create fake, and we do see it right now that it's AI generated, but we have to have a law almost like up to $250,000 if you upload something deep fake and it does not say that, does not have watermark that is deep fake, right? So you can put fear in front of people. You can prosecute people for creating something that affect another person, right? So we can fight almost anything. Like at first it's like, oh, it's scary, people will use it against me, and then we use the same technology to protect us and to work for us. And I'm guilty of that. I shared 2 clips of Scottie Pippen, I think, roasting LeBron James, how Michael Jordan is the best, and people like, Dmitry is AI. I was like, everything he said is make perfect sense. I believe that guy could say something like that. Perfect message. So I shared it, right? Because Michael Jordan is the best. Like, LeBron is not even close. But anyway, so I did not know it was deep fake. So it was so believable. And we will share stuff like that. But if there's a law that will get me in legal trouble, I'll think 3 times before sharing next time.
But see, I think people like you and I definitely will think that, but I don't think that criminals care. That's why they are criminals. Right?
If you get a judgment against you, if you get a felony on your record, sooner or later you will stop doing it.
Yeah, I agree with the logic with that, but I do think that, because as you say that, I initially agree with you, right? But then I think like, well, who's going to be the person that's going to really be able to stop it? Criminals are always going to be there. Scammers are.
Well, they'll find a way, but there are a lot of crimes who went away because we actually went after it. And
Gotcha.
I mean, they'll find a way to do it other ways, but sooner or later we'll make a stop.
What about the insurance companies? What about putting the liability on the company for not double checking before they do something?
I'll answer it when we come back after the break. We're going to take last break today. We have one more story. It's actually a very, very positive story about fire victims who won $150,000 after they've been lowballed by their insurance claim. And I'll answer your question when we come back as well.
Are you stupid and think you need a new roof? You don't. You just need Go Nano.
Really?
Your roof has been left battered from years of hail damage, granule loss, and other random threats.
That's just Ned.
Hey, you tell your dog not to piss on my plants!
Don't worry, Ned, he didn't. That was all me.
Yeah, I thought it was you, one of your stupid kids!
Go Nano uses nanotechnology to strengthen your roof from the inside out, slowing down aging, protecting it from UV rays, granule loss, hail damage, and extends the life by 15 years. Guaranteed.
15 years. It's pretty good. It's longer than any woman's one been willing to stick around with me.
Other companies use soybean oil or bio oil and only offer temporary protection. Go Nano protects you at the nanoscale.
So you don't have to buy a whole new roof?
No! That would cost you thousands. Go Nano can extend the life of your roof for 85% less than a new roof.
Well, that would leave me a lot of money for that moat I want to build.
Oh no, not a moat. If anyone tried to get to your house, it would very briefly slow them down.
Stay on your side of the road.
A roof without Go Nano is like a car without seatbelts, or a castle without a moat. Get smart, get Go Nano.
And we are back for the last story today. But before we get into this nice story, Mike has a question for me. What was the question?
In the last segment, we were talking about deepfake, and then we were talking about how to prevent it, and you brought up more enforcement and protecting, crimes and laws. And I said, well, who should be more responsible? Obviously, yes, to the criminals, but should we also sue or go after the big corporations, in this case insurance companies, for not double checking something?
100%. So I think what our government is really good at is setting up examples. Do you remember Holmes? She created Theranos, I think is the name of the business. So like we had a big problem. Like people were scamming investors for many, many years, right? And then what it took is they will take one or two cases, send people to prison for 5-10 years, even like Jordan Belfort and all of those. I think what government needs to do is they need to put one or two CEOs of giant insurance companies, or not only call them in front of Congress, but actually prosecute them, give them jail time. It happened in the banking industry. It happening in Silicon Valley when Beckman, like recently, like he's still serving Bitcoin guy. So you send few people to jail. Yeah, even what's happening with P. Diddy right now, like it's actually sends waves to Hollywood. It's like, hey, if you behave like this, we don't care how many billions you have, you're not above the law. It's just they have to make a case of someone, and then others one will follow, hopefully, but you never know. Probably. So last story today, Mike, you have the detail actually.
All right, an elderly couple in California lost their home in the Eaton fire. Then their insurance company lowballed the payout. Adjusters kept they kept changing, and after the final offer was way below the rebuild cost, the son happened to be a data scientist. So what he did was he decided to fight back. Dennis Salguero used free AI tools to write an appeal letter with detailed cost estimates. The insurance went quiet. Then they raised the payout by over $150,000. Now he's sharing the method so that other fire survivors can do the same thing.
I love everything about this story. Finally, some brains to the right cause. I would buy that course. I would sell it. I want to find this guy and share his course with everyone.
Right.
Love it. All right, we'll work on it. $150,000 as a data center. Like I love everything about it.
Good for him.
What do you guys think?
I think personally, as I read this is what I've been spending the bulk of my time as a contractor doing lately. Me and ChatGPT is on my payroll. That is my new best friend, and I know so many people are like it. I know the insurance companies know it when they see it. They're like, how did this contractor get so eloquently intelligent all of a sudden? And what are these long hyphens? Everybody knows the ChatGPT long hyphens. I think, right? I personally have been having to get more scientific when proving damages and writing estimates, and that's what I've been training my AI to use lately. I know others have to be doing the same thing. AI is there's not always a bad story. It's not always the enemy. It's a tool. And just like any tool, it's how you use it. And I think that there's going to be waves of people, and somebody will probably be selling a course on how to write better estimates. And eventually, like Adam said, it's going to be, I picture a little boxing toy with AI versus AI, and they're going to be boxing each other. And pretty soon the insurance company is going to be doing it, and we'll just step back out of it eventually. But I've been doing the same thing. I am so happy to hear that somebody got proactive and did it themselves. But the real problem is, should they have even had to go through this fight and all these problems in the first place? Ideally, in an ethical world, the estimate would have been right, but this is what your contractor deals with for a living, ladies and gentlemen.
Adam, what do you think?
Well, I think it's really cool that it was born out of a pickleball group chat, right? Which is kind of cool. This is kind of showing power of the community and being able to organize. And I think that is, the bastion of America, is that freedom to communicate and be able to connect and have that community. Because if we had like socialized insurance and stuff like that, this could be something that eventually like a government just says, oh, you're not allowed to talk about that. So I love the fact that this was just born out of community, right? And like some people have played pickleball together. They hear about somebody getting not a fair shake, and another guy says, I bet you like this is a good use case for AI. And this is now, because the insurance companies are going to collect data on the tactics, right? But who is creating the community where you're collecting data on that? Like, this is why Reddit is suddenly like huge again, right? Is because it's a source for AI search that causes you to then go connect and find community and learn more about stuff. So I love that this is happening, because I do think that this is just a thing that de-escalates the nuclear arms race a little bit between these different parties that all have a lot of power, and it's bringing power back to contractors and back to homeowners, because there's a decoupling from how many PhDs work for you versus how intelligent can you approach a problem. You know, there's 4 billion PhDs that are now willing to work in the roofing industry. All you have to do is learn how to use them.
Absolutely. I love that he used the free AI tools to use. So, well, all insurance technology and spend. Insurance probably will hear the story and will absolutely hate their guts for it. Like, what? We got beat by a free AI tool? What do you think, Clay?
You know, I know I've had a few arguably cynical takes today. This story does give me hope. You know, the idea that an everyman can take on the conglomerate using tools that are available and win is heartening, right? So I find that encouraging. I do question whether, I don't question, I anticipate that things will evolve. You know, the tools that are free to us today may someday soon have paywalls in front of them where it's not quite so easy to access these things. You can think of 100 services in your life that used to be free or minimal cost that have become monthly subscription type fees. So I'm sure the powerful AI tools are going to get more difficult to reach for these everymen. But in the current day and time, it's encouraging to know that, hey, we can jump on there, we can access some tools that start to level the playing field a little bit. There's an imbalance of power between homeowners and between insurance carriers. So to leverage technology to level that playing field a little bit, I'm glad he was able to do it. I find this to be a happy end result. And again, props to you, Dennis. I hope you're out there listening to him, man, and I hope your parents appreciate you. Good job, Dennis. Way to go, baby. $150K for the rents. Get that house back. I like it.
I want to finish this show on this last take. Earlier, we talked about that it's not a victimless crime. For the past 4 weeks on our main YouTube channel, Roofing Insights, we've been talking a lot about insurance fraud, what roofers actually do in a space where a lot of roofers have that mentality that insurance companies are too big. And I think a lot of people in the United States think about government that way. Like, government is so big that we can, you know, they can apply for whether it's a food stamps or some kind of programs or PPP loans that, you know, who is the victim here? You know, it's our money. Government is our money. Insurance is our money. There's no such a thing as victimless. We all pay the price. That's what's happening in the healthcare industry. Amount of fraud happening in the healthcare industry. If you look at the busts, like FBI raids, like in Florida, huge, like, you know, medical billing fraud is through the roof. They literally set up a fake hospitals, fake doctors who does like fake prescriptions. Is insane. At the end of the day, we all need insurance. And the simple fact that insurance fraud exists is a proof that insurance actually works. Because a lot of people can fake the damage, can set their house on fire for that payout and actually get paid. So yes, a lot of times insurance companies don't pay, but in insurance fraud cases, they do pay, and people on this side of the transactions get punished. So we all need it. It's not victimless crime. We all pay the price. We all have that increased letters, and it's very, very sad. If you're doing it, stop doing it and start living a normal lifestyle with good work ethics. Do something meaningful, not being a scammer.
Yeah, all you have to do is watch every other industry. I personally I was 10 years in the mortgage industry, and I watched it happen, and people just think that everything's going to be great forever, and there's no sense in I told you so. But I definitely talked about the insurance company coming to the state that it's in and that it's entering or already in, and where things will be in the future. 10, 15 years ago. We just seen it happen. Humans do human stuff, and on that list is stupid stuff. So people do stupid things, and they will ruin something that's good. And to your point, right, if they were being scammed, that does mean that they were paying out. That's a good point also. And maybe what happened and what's going on now is the cause and effect. Things were good, they got taken advantage of, and then they tightened up shit. And then now nobody likes it, and now we have to fight for good because they're protecting themselves from the bad. I think it's a community issue, and I think that as we raise our ethics as a community, hopefully things will get better, and that means you too, insurance companies.
Yep. I just want to close the loop on where I started, that triangle of, homeowner, contractor, insurance company. Insurance companies work really hard to make themselves seem like the good guys through their marketing efforts and even disparaging contractors. Homeowners, I really encourage you to vet your contractors well, spend time with them, and make sure you're being smart in your selection, and understand that when you make a good choice, those contractors are much more on your side and fighting to get you what you deserve than those insurance companies are.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for being with us today. This is it for today's morning brew. Keep your coffee strong and your contractor honest, and we'll see you next week.
Are you stupid and think you need a new roof? You don't. You just need Go Nano.
Really?
Your roof has been left battered from years of hail damage, granule loss, and other random threats.
That's just Ned.
Hey, you tell your dog not to piss on my plants!
Don't worry, Ned, he didn't. That was all me.
Yeah, I thought it was you, one of your stupid kids!
Go Nano uses nanotechnology to strengthen your roof from the inside out, slowing down aging, protecting it from UV rays, granule loss, hail damage, and extends the life by 15 years. Guaranteed.
15 years. It's pretty good. It's longer than any woman's one been willing to stick around with me.
Other companies use soybean oil or bio oil and only offer temporary protection. Go Nano protects you at the nanoscale.
So you don't have to buy a whole new roof?
No! That would cost you thousands. Go Nano can extend the life of your roof for 85% less than a new roof.
Well, that would leave me a lot of money for that moat I want to build.
Oh no, not a moat. If anyone tried to get to your house, it would very briefly slow them down.
Stay on your side of the road.
A roof without Go Nano is like a car without seatbelts, or a castle without a moat. Get smart, get Go Nano.